So who's the best person to go to for computer repairs in the north side, Brian?
In the north side of the whole of Dublin.
In the whole of Dublin even?
It has to be computer doctor in Fairview, a local business for local people.
Absolutely.
Olive. Olive. There she is. Everybody else.
But the Sinead working in one sentence. Thanks very much. Hey Anne, how's it going? How are you?
Surviving, okay. Can you hear me, Jim Sloan? But we're all right then.
I get my ears.
Just letting on your time.
I knew I'd disappoint you if I arrived on time. So I had to do my couple of minutes late, my usual thing. I want to thank every single one of you for coming here today for the opening of this office. Fáilte mór Roh Cllr fáilte isteach gach duine ansa. I know some of you are party members, party activists. Many of you are community activists. I know we have some local business people have stopped by as well. Every single one of you is welcome here to this office, which will have a welcome on the mat for everybody in this community. And for us as activists, our job is to serve the people, to reflect the needs of the people, and to advance a good standard of living, decent services, and a good and happy life for everybody that lives around us without fear and without favour. And you know that we live in difficult times. I see Anto Flynn is here from Inner City Helping Homeless. And Anto, and I know Rose and many other activists will tell you just how difficult the housing situation is at the minute. We do our best, and we will continue to do our best. We don't have magic wands. I wish to Christ we did. But we can always make the commitment to everybody that we serve that we will always honour you by doing our very, very best. I want to welcome my fellow elected reps here. Councillors Janice Boylan, Gay Fagan. Is Seamus McGrattan here somewhere? Okay, moving swiftly on. Seamus, I'm sure, is on his way. I think Councillor Paul Donnelly might be on his way. You're all very, very welcome. And a special and a very warm welcome to our colleague, our comrade and our friend, Councillor Mícheál MacDonncha, who also has the honour of being the first citizen of this city. In a moment I'm going to ask Mícheál to say a few words, but I also want to extend a very special thank you for getting this office up and running to Jerry Timmins, to Olive Sloan, to Mary Shannon, to Anne O'Sullivan, to Liam Lappin, to everybody who's involved in this office. I see Anna here and Jim Sloan and Amy, and I know now I'm going to mess up and not mention someone that I should mention.
Just say everybody.
Claire, where's Claire? I can't see her. Oh, there you are, Claire, I'm sorry. And the O'Malley Russell come and everybody who's involved in this, and my husband and my son have also just arrived, so they're later than me, but they're also welcome. So thank you very much. Agus inish currigi fáilte mór riv an third vera Mícheál MacDonncha.
Gormagat Mary Lou agus gormagat Illig Curran sé anna as orm bheith an seo aniu sanáid starúil seo chun an ific seo nó chun bheith live agus an ific seo á oscailt agin. Tá an obair déanta an stracail déanta ag publicánaigh sa taobh seo den char le blianta fada anuas. Just thinking of what few words I'd say, and it just occurred to me as I was standing here listening to Mary Lou that the very first election that I took part in was in 1983, which is what, 34 years ago, and it was based here in this area, and we were working out of Maureen Maguire's house on Leinster Avenue, and I think it was the by-election in 1983 where Christy Burke was the candidate, and that was the very first election that I was involved in, and the first time I was involved with Dublin Republicans on a wider basis. I joined in UCD, just knew the lads and lassies in the coming there, and that was the first time I got to know Dublin Republicans, and especially Republicans in this part of the city. And it was a bit of a shock because the first person I met was Maureen Maguire. So after that it was easy. But I also would have met the Donnellys, Paul and Alan and Mick and others, and many other people at that time. So it was great to see. And when you think back 1983, Dublin Sinn Féin didn't have a single elected representative, not a councillor, not to mind a TD, never mind an MEP, never mind an Ard Mhéara. And now this is I'm the second one now at this stage. But so that we could see the progress we've made. And we're also in a very, very historic area, just up the road there, the Annesley House. We commemorated last year where there was a battle during the 1916 Rising. You know, you could say nearly every house along here there's a story. Tom Clark had a shop just there on Amiens Street, and so on and so on. O'Toole's GAA club was based in this area. So much associations with the 1916 Rising. So this office, the work that Mary Lou is doing, that our councillors doing, that we're all doing as Republicans, is continuing that work. It's the same struggle and the same cause, and we're doing it on a local level. We're doing it for communities, we're developing communities. That's what we're about. I was out in Bluebell last night, and I made that point that the City Council is about community development. It's a council representing the whole city community, and it's made up of communities all over this city. And as my friend and comrade who I worked with for many years, Bíbí O'Quailán, always says, as Republicans we need to be rooted, relevant and Republican. And I think in this area Sinn Féin has been always very rooted in the community, very relevant to the community, and above all very Republican. So my sibh agus Canary good gal leis an ifig nua.
Thank you very much for that, Mícheál, and I'm now going to introduce to you, as they say, a man who needs no introduction because his reputation precedes him the length and breadth of this city and far, far beyond. He's our Nicky, Cabra's finest, and one of the reasons why we asked Nicky to do the honours today, in addition to being an outstanding human being and a fan of hurling, is this. The first time I was in this office, it was actually Nicky's office. I think it was back in the election of 2002. And I remember being in and out. Padraig Steenson, many of us know him, used to be working at the counter. A very pleasant and welcoming facade for our movement. Padraig used to work in here. And when we acquired this office, I knew it was in the same area, but I didn't realise until I was told that actually it's the same office. So in a way, for me, and I think for us, this is more than just a happy coincidence. This for me represents the continuity of service to our communities and of struggle in the Republican goal for unity and freedom and for social justice, because that's what we're all about. And all of us are advocates of that, and Ard Mhéara, our elected people, crucially our activists. But I have to say, for me, in the years that I have known him, and I know this is lots of people's view, Nicky represents in so many ways what's best about our struggle. In his honesty, sometimes he's too honest. In his directness, sometimes he's too direct. But he's never anything if not absolutely authentic. And I want to ask him now, with our Ard Mhéara, to officiate on the cutting of this ribbon. I suppose we get our picture taken first.
Yeah, absolutely. Stand in.
We're not supposed to both hold the scissors now. I'll hold the ribbon.
You hold the ribbon.
Ribbon has to go back. Can we get us home?
Yeah.
Cut away.
Go ahead, you right?
Right, 1, 2.
You right, Lord Mayor?
I'm really honoured and I'm really grateful for Mary Lou to ask me to open it. I'm not a person who sort of goes for big occasions or stuff like that, but it's really a privilege to be asked by Mary Lou to come down to this office. And funny enough, it's an office we had here since 1999 and all through to 2000 and after. And from a Sinn Féin point of view, it's like coming back to, for me, home in the context, because in that time of the election we had to move into the inner city, even though my mother was from the inner city. I had to come back down here and work with all the communities, James Larkins, Sheriff Street and stuff like that. And this is the office where my outreach came from. And it was one of the best communities I ever worked in. Congratulations, Mary! I live in Cabra, which is my community where I live, but the North Inner City. And for everybody's talk about the North Inner City, about all this type of stuff, they're the best community, the most honest people, they're the hardest working people. When I hear comments about this and this, if you take a circle of this place, this was the cradle of the 1916 and 1921 revolution, here, in this patch. And the people came into me with all their suffers, all their things, and they just keep going. They had the focus to live. And they have been neglected, so why wouldn't they be away from the establishment? Why wouldn't they be away from the powers that be that just didn't care about? Now, for Sinn Féin's point of view, when we started the process in 1983, I was around all right, but I took a holiday for about 12 years in 1983, so I didn't come back for a while. But the point about Sinn Féin, and in fairness to Mary Lou, and no matter what anyone can say about Mary Lou, she's the best performer in Leicester House, she's an honest person, and she will deliver.
Absolutely.
And the point about her is, she will be down here and she's worked in all the areas in this representing people. And as she says herself, she can't do everything, or Sinn Féin can't do anything. But what we can do is give people and communities platforms to articulate what their needs are and to deliver that. And what Sinn Féin has done today is say to the North Inner City, walk back here on the ground here, walk back walking here. Not that we ever left it, that's the station. We have an office in Cabra. No one ever had an office in Cabra until Sinn Féin came. There was offices in the North Inner City, but this is the first office here. Mary's only the second Sinn Féin TD since 1918. Phil Shanahan was the first. And Mary in the historical election, in the last election, became that. What we need to do here from a Sinn Féin point of view is to represent the communities.
Absolutely.
We need to solve the housing crisis. We need to solve the health crisis. And we need to invest in education. And the likes of Mary Lou, who is a very renowned leader, will deliver that. I know that. And I wouldn't say that. I don't bullshit. I tell you what it is. And the point about it is that's what's going to happen. And we have to believe, but we have to work hard, and we have to deliver. And don't bullshit people. Tell them what it is. If we're going to provide housing, we're going to have to provide housing. The state's going to have to invest. If we're going to solve the health crisis, we're going to have to solve it. But they're the issues that we need to represent the people that we live. And that's what we have to do. Now, sometimes I can ramble on, so I have
The revolution.
I go back in time. But anyway, that's all I have to say. But I want to thank everyone. There's a lot of people here who soldiered with me. There's a lot of people here going back over the years. When I think of when I walk down here, all the times I used to be around and all the people I met in the different communities, and they're all embedded in me brain. There's a load of people here who soldiered for 20, 30, 40 years. There's a load of new people here who I'm delighted to have. New people and young people and women are the key to solve it and to fulfill the revolution that a lot of us were part of in lots of ways. But the revolution never stops, whether it's a political or military, it keeps working on. And it changes and it changes. But it has to be driven. And I want to thank everybody here, from myself and from Mary Lou, for the service you give to Sinn Féin day in, day out. And let's keep it going, but let's build. Let's make Sinn Féin and Dublin Central the strongest force. So Mary Lou shouldn't be coming in with 6,000, she'll be coming in with 11,000 votes. And that's what you put the marker down, because she will deliver. So thanks everybody for coming.